Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, November 19th. So today we do have the moon moving out of Virgo energy and moving into Libra energy. We will have the moon go void, of course, at 3:48 a.m. and we will lock into that Libran energy at 5:59 a.m. Again, all in Eastern Standard Time. So anytime that we're moving out from the earthy energy of Virgo to the airy energy of Libra, we are moving out of the physical body, out of our physical circumstances, out of the mental plane as far as analyzing and critiquing and problem solving goes. And we are moving into the compromise stage of some of the things that we just realized, some of the endings that we just kind of put to bed, some of the beginnings that we've just identified and applied some strategy to. Now we're looking to negotiate. Now we're looking to find peace. Now we're looking to find balance in some of the realizations that we had, in our emotions, in our thoughts, and of course, in our circumstances. We tend to kind of want to stay in the shallow end when we are in Libran energy, meaning we want to be chatty, we want to interact with other people, we want to keep things playful and light and fluffy. We don't really want to talk about the, deeper topics and themes that, of course, many of us are tired of now that we have just, sat in the depths of the darkness of Scorpio season. Now we want to find fairness, peace, justice, happiness, balance in all of our thoughts and feelings. So we do have 10 different aspects here today. 8 of them are going to involve the moon. So the moon in Virgo is going to sextile, which is a beautiful energy, with the sun in Scorpio. Now, if you listened to yesterday's energy forecast, you would know that, and even the day before, that the Virgo energy and the Scorpio energy gets along very well with one another. And this is no different. This is a sextile, so we're blending these energies together. We have done a lot of thinking, a lot of emotional processing, a lot of identifying the problems and coming up with some solutions. And therefore, there is a huge shift, a huge change, a huge transformation taking place within us, setting us up, preparing ourselves to cut the cord with the past, and of course, be eagerly, anxiously anticipating this brand new quest, this brand new path, this brand new direction, this brand new adventure, now that we have kind of gotten real with ourselves and identified what needs to stay and what needs to go. The moon is going to make a very awkward interaction with the true note, which of course is our soul's path, our destiny's point. Now, this interaction may mean that we're questioning the steps that we thought we should take. We're questioning the strategy that we've decided upon. We're questioning the path and the direction that we were so certain of, even over these last couple of days. That's okay. Questioning things, changing your mind, seeing things from a different perspective, that is okay. It's all part of the process of getting us closer and more in alignment with our true, authentic selves. It's okay to feel confusion because confusion leads to clarity. It's okay to be stuck on the problems because identifying the problems means that we're actively working towards a solution. It's okay to question things that you were certain of. It's okay to open your mind. It's okay to open your heart to new ways of doing things, even after you've established the right way that you felt at the time would be the right way to proceed. It's okay. The last aspect that the moon in Virgo is actually going to make before going void, of course, is an opposition with Jupiter. So Jupiter is currently retrograde in Pisces energy. We talked a little bit about how Virgo energy and Pisces energy sits across from one another. We talked about how what they have in common is the healing axis. The Virgo energy wants to heal and solve and make healthy and maintain our physical bodies, our physical realms, while the Pisces energy wants to heal our soul self, our spiritual self. Now, Jupiter is here to magnify whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. He's showing us where it is that growth has taken place, but where there's still more room to grow, where it is that we have to open up our mind, push the boundaries of what it is that we actually believe to be true, and reconnect with our higher selves, with our intuition, with our dreams, in order to actually create the magic that is needed in order to actually manifest. We talked about how Virgo energy sometimes has so much focus on the here and now, the details of our physical existence, that sometimes we don't open the door to the magic of the cosmos. Well, the Pisces energy, especially with Jupiter in Pisces energy, is almost like the Kool-Aid man, where he busts through the wall, right? And he just wants you to, push yourself outside of those boundaries and push yourself outside of your thoughts, outside of your emotions, and really explore what is possible when you don't confine yourself to allow your physical reality and your current circumstances to dictate what is possible for you. So this is going to trigger some big feels. Let's not just kid ourselves, right? Jupiter turns the volume all the way up on what it is that we're thinking and feeling. And, the moon in Virgo in a positive aspect is, feeling pretty good, feeling logical and practical and confident and ready to apply the determination and the discipline in order to build something, to create something, to basically bring something to life. However, this is a negative aspect, which means that our negative Nancy narrative is running rampant in our mental plane, where we are overly judgmental, highly critical of ourselves, where we're really picking apart our dreams, where we're really trying to talk ourselves out of the magic of the possibilities of the cosmos. It would be nice to strike a balance, but I will say where the moon is about to go void and where things get shaky and unstable, it is likely that unlikely that we are going to strive and meet that balance point. And it is likely that we are going to throw ourselves in the extremes of magnifying all the limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, all the nervousness, all the anxiety that we're currently kind of feeling at this particular point, because we literally on the precipice of change. So the moon is going to go void. Again, we don't want to make any decisions. We don't want to commit to anything. We don't want to start anything new. We don't want to throw ourselves into our thoughts or feelings, because they're likely going to change the minute that we stabilize into a brand new energy. Like I had mentioned, 5:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we lock into Libran energy. The very first aspect that the moon in Libra is going to make is an awkward one with Uranus, who is currently retrograde in Taurus energy. So the one thing we have in common between the Libra energy and the Taurus energy is their ruler, Venus. And Venus is just getting used to the Sagittarian energy. Now, what I will say is that because this isn't the most ideal aspect, we are going to have a little bit of friction within ourselves, especially emotionally and mentally. Why? Because the Uranian energy wants us to kind of bust out of our current circumstances, wants us to be open to change, open to new ideas, open to new ways of doing things, wants us to embody spontaneity at its finest and really go from one extreme to the next. Well, that doesn't sound very Libra-like, does it? Doesn't sound like balance, doesn't sound like stability. And so we're going to struggle here, because there is one part of us that desperately just wants to change everything. But then this Libran energy is like, okay, we can't go balls to the walls that extreme. Let's see where we can compromise. Let's see where we can make a significant change without abandoning all that we've worked towards, all that we've grown, all that we've already established. We have Mars entering into the boxing ring with Neptune. So Mars is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde. What does this mean? It means that this is an internalized journey of energy, an internalized realization. What are we realizing? Well, first of all, Mars is trying to show us the choices that we have. He's in Gemini energy. They're very extreme choices, very extreme paths. And let me break it down for you. Most of us are contemplating, do we continue to do what it is that we've always done and settle for what it is that we've always got, make peace with that? Or do we branch away from what it is that we've been doing and what it is that we've always got to do something different outside of our comfort zones? It's going to require us to make some major changes and boss up and really step into our bold, brave, courageous sense of self, our warrior spirit, in order to get a different result. That's what we're currently contemplating with Mars being in Gemini energy. There's a lot of information, a lot of processing going on. And Neptune energy is retrograde in Pisces in its place of power, which means that this is a little bit of a stronger position, if you will. And Neptune retrograde in Pisces is taking us on an inner journey to really reflect, reconnect with our higher selves, with our intuition, with our dream, with our soul. And right now, we are really stuck in la la land. It is where our lack of physical energy, because of Mars being retrograde, is putting us in a situation to basically dream and conjure up a reality that we don't know that we have the energy, boldness, bravery, or courage to actually pursue. Now this, although sounds bad, right? This is actually a good thing, because sometimes many of us live so much within ourselves that we miss out on the physical experience. Sometimes we live in la la land. We're constantly focused on what it is we want more of, what it is we want to manifest from here, that we totally miss the appreciation that we need to have for this moment. May I remind you, you are currently living in a state that you once prayed for, okay? Doesn't mean that you need to be content to sit here. It does mean that you need to be present enough to recognize that, yes, you are living a current state of affairs that you prayed for once upon a time. And yes, you're appreciative of the journey, of the experience, of the lessons that it taught you. But yes, you are also willing to let it go now because you feel like you've outgrown it in a lot of ways. That is important. But with Mars and Neptune kind of in the boxing ring with this way, Mars is stunted on his physical energy to fight it out. Neptune would rather avoid confrontation and escape reality altogether. And what we get here is kind of a cluster F of emotion where everything's kind of coming at us at once. It can feel very extreme. Neptune being retrograde in Pisces is hypersensitive. We're picking up on subtle energies. And Mars right now is just agitated, frustrated, angry as F that we're not able to exert ourselves out in the world and actually make as many big moves as we are imagining that we would make right now if our circumstances were a little bit different. The moon, though, is going to sextile with Mercury. This is a good vibe. This means that our heart and our head, we're coming together. We're compromising. We're negotiating a little bit. Now, keep in mind, Mercury is just fresh into Sagittarian energy. Go ahead, listen to that astro forecast if you need to. Download your zodiac forecast if you need to, so that you know where this is taking place in your life. But Mercury being in Sag is big ideas, big thoughts, big ways of expressing ourselves with no filter, mind you. So we have to be careful of that. The moon is our heart space, our intuition, who is in Libran energy, striving for peace and balance, striving for some kind of stable point that many of us haven't had in a very long time. Now, we are dreaming a huge dream with Mercury being in Sag, and all we want to do emotionally is say, okay, where can I meet myself right now to at least align with that dream and that vision? The Libran energy needs us to find a middle ground, needs us to negotiate, needs us to compromise, especially emotionally, because of course we're talking about the moon. So we can even find ourselves in a conversation, because Libran energy loves to chat, of talking about our dreams and collaborating with other people and using them as a sounding board and building and feeding off of each other's energy in order to actually realize new ideas, new epiphanies, new aha moments on what it is that we're actually being triggered and activated to pursue. I would say be very, very careful with the conversations, because we do want to keep things light and fluffy. If we dare step our toe into the deep end of our emotions and our thoughts, let me just tell you, make sure you're using a freaking filter. Again, listen to Mercury being in Sag. We don't have a filter. We're straightforward. We're speaking truth. That's not a bad thing. But sometimes we're a little bit too blunt, a little bit too harsh, a little bit too direct. And this Libran energy just wants to soften the edges of that and really just wants to keep things light and fluffy. We really don't want to go in the deep end. But if we're put in a situation where we're communicating our thoughts and ideas right now, just trust the fact that we could take it too far super quick. And then we're going to have to negotiate our asses off and compromise in order to backpedal and smooth things over. The moon is going to bump into Saturn in not the nicest way. Saturn being the lord of karma, ruling over structures, foundations, roles, responsibilities. The moon in Libra, again, just wanting to keep things light and fluffy. And Saturn comes in with a whole weight, a whole heaviness. We can't keep things light and fluffy. There's very serious matters here. We have obligations. We have commitments. We have new soul contracts. We have a new timeline. We can't be just, chatty Cathy sitting around just talking about dreams. We actually have to get to work. We have to build the bridge to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. This is like perfect construction zone. When you drive through a construction zone, there's all kinds of signs and you got to slow down and the traffic is building up, and then you're creeping through the construction zone and you realize that they're all just standing around talking. Well, not much is going to be built out of that. Not much progress. Maybe there's good ideas being swirled around, but ideas mean nothing here in this physical world until we can put the action behind them in order to bring them to life. So we do have to get down to the nitty gritty on what actually needs to be done, because sitting around talking about everything is absolutely getting us nowhere. The moon goes ahead, sextiles Venus. Venus rules over Libran energy. Venus just fresh in Sagittarian energy. Again, listen to the astro forecast if you haven't already. Venus being about love, value, worth, money. She just crawled her ass out of this dark pit through Scorpio energy. She is seeing life from a different perspective, from a different set of eyes. She's excited about life. There's a new passion, a new desire, a new spirit, a new soul level of want when it comes to experiences. She just wants to let her hair down. She wants to have fun. She's all riled up, thinking big, just got too many irons in the fire. So this is a good energy for us because a sextile blends these energies together. The moon being in Libran energy is going to provide us with a lot of different perspectives, a lot of thought, a lot of good ideas on how we can take that great big energy that Venus is currently sitting in, her wants, her needs, her desires, and at least reel them down so that we're not going to extremes, that we can strike that balance and kind of create peace and harmony within our wants, needs, and desires. Because Sagittarius energy is ruled over by Jupiter, so we get magnified. The volume is all the way up in Sagittarius energy. It takes it to extremes. Now, yes, Scorpio season that we're still in, mind you, is extremes, taking us from the depths of the darkness of our soul to the highest realms of our enlightenment. But the Sagittarius energy takes us to the extremes on the possibility of what we can create, the possibility of what we can experience. So at least the moon in Libra is like, compromise. Let's compromise here. Let's bring it down a bit. Let's turn the volume down just a tad. Let's take that excitement, take that passion. Let's work with it. Let's brainstorm. This is a good vibe. Now the sun is going to bump into Chiron. The sun is in Scorpio. We're nearing the final degrees of Scorpio. So we're really getting this intense lesson. Many of us are over it, to be honest with you. We're like, you know what? Tired of the shadow work, tired of feeling like crap, tired of feeling like I'm going to die. Really, really enjoying, the precipice of this change, this transformation, this rebirth, this resurrection, but we're not there yet. We're kind of tired of it. The sun in Scorpio interacting with Chiron in this way is going to highlight for us the shadow realm of our emotions, of our actions, of our thoughts. Why? Because we should have realized through Scorpio season, we should have realized this by now, that our big dreams, our hopes, our wishes are on the other side of the wall that we've created out of our fears, our doubts, our insecurities. Now, we just had Venus, who is thinking big, who's going after life in big ways over there in Sag energy. We just identified where the spark, where the passion, where the desire is being reignited within our soul space, what it is we actually want for ourselves. So now the sun, which is shining a bright light on what it is that we have to kind of acknowledge, do, transform within ourselves in order to actually get there, is bumping into Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy, who's trying to help us reinvent ourselves, rebrand ourselves, our image, our inner realm, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our physical reality. So the sun in Scorpio is shining a bright light on all of the wounds right now in our shadow self that many of us sat in this whole entire Scorpio season, not to show us where it is that we're blocking ourselves, but to remind ourselves of the wall that we now have to climb over if we stand a chance in hell of actually reaching our happiness, our goals, our dreams, our hopes, our wishes. Is it going to feel good? No. Is it supposed to feel good? No. Are we going to get over it? Hell yeah. Scorpio energy is the transformer, is the alchemist. We have to sit in the funk, sit in the darkness in order for us to even see or appreciate the light. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon in Libran energy, making a beautiful aspect with the true node, our soul's path, our destiny point. Now, what are we getting out of this? We're getting a little bit of hope. We're getting a little visual on what it is that we need to kind of create in our lives to provide stability, to provide peace, to provide balance in our lives. That true node wants us to be on the right path. The true node is urging us to get prepared for this green light go so that we can just shotgun ourselves, slingshot ourselves down this new path of adventure, this new quest, this new direction. And the moon in Libra is excited. We're playful. We're excited. We're confident. We think that this is the right move. We think that this is going to bring some sort of peace, justice, fairness to our lives. And you best believe that it is going to. We just suffered through a very, very deep, dark time, not only in our own lives, but in humanity's lives and the collectives. And we are starting to dig ourselves out of this dark hole. And we are starting to see the pieces snap together on what it is that we are now moving and working towards. This is a good vibe. This is an opportunity for us to see where it is that we've accomplished a lot in our journey thus far, especially in our emotional and mental journey, and where it is that we just have to spend a little bit of time to gain our footing, to gain peace and harmony and balance and stability in the here and now as we sort out the next step of our path for us to actually move forward on.